So I'm not gonna get too expose. Hello. What is up, all you literary femmes and gents? It is your girl Deja, and I am back with another video on my channel. I understand that this video is late and that we're like 10 days into August, but in my defense, I have been studying because it is finals week here for my summer college, and I was like, booktube or college? And I was just like, hey, college tends to, you know, come above booktube, but I still love you guys. So anyways, I am here with my July wrap up, and I only read 4 books in the month of July, so this is not going to be, hopefully, it's not going to be that long, because there are one of these books that I was super, like, it hit home, it hit me like, ugh, yes. I'm just going to jump straight into this with the first book I read, and that was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertelli. I was actually recommended this book by Emma Books. I'll put a link to her channel down below. She was doing her LGBT plus books for the month of June because June was Pride Month. And oh my god, am I glad that I bought this book. This book was so good. It only took me like a day and a half to get through it because I was just like, oh my god, what happened next? So this is actually the very first book I have ever owned in which the main character was in the LGBTQ plus community, because, you know, I grew up in a very conservative household, but now that I'm an adult, they're just like, you do you, boo boo. And so I'm just like, okay. So Simon Versus, if you guys didn't know, follows the story of Simon, who is gay, and if you couldn't tell, his name is Simon. Simon Versus. His name is Simon, and he has an online friend who goes by the name of Blue. So they develop their relationship from just being friends into something a little bit more, but things kind of take a turn for the worse when Simon logs into his account at school because he is too eager to see what Blue has sent him in a reply, leaves it open on accident, and somebody sees his messages. Not only do they see the messages, but they screenshot that mess and blackmail him with it. So throughout this whole book, Simon is trying to get one of his friends to go out with this guy named Martin, who is blackmailing him by saying, I will expose you and this guy named Blue if you don't help me get with her. Moving on, I will say that I did guess who Blue was before the end of the book based off of like the clues that Simon thought he knew about that person. I'm not gonna lie, I pulled up a list of presidents and I started going down the list, and I was just like, I was like, oh, and I figured out who it was. I really love this book because they are exactly how I was like when I was in high school. So there's a scene in the book where they're all at this party that is being held by one of these soccer players, and they're sitting in a corner talking to each other, and somebody brings up how like what you're mixed with and how you ended up here in America. And one of Simon's friends, she's black, she's like, I know how I got here. Slavery. And I don't know why, but that just made me laugh so hard because I joked like that. I still joke like that because I feel like teenagers joke about things that adults take way too seriously. So I love that moment, the fact that they were just so like innocently talking about this and not starting like some whole like debate about like, oh my god, that's wrong, or oh my gosh, like it was just like an innocent conversation, and I was like, I love this banter. It's wonderful. But I will say, this book for me was 5 out of 5 stars. It was great. The ending scene was so cute. I was like, I'm not going to expose anything because I want you guys to read it. But the ending scene was so adorable. It made me happy. Moving on to the next book on my July wrap-up, and that is going to be Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau. Oh my god, y'all, this book is the best book I have read so far in 2017. So let me just start by saying that this book is very predictable, and you kind of guess what's going to happen before it actually happens, and who's the actual bad guy versus who's an actual good guy. There's a couple characters that kind of, they're on the fence and you don't know about them yet, but for the most part, quite a few things in here are predictable. But besides that, everything else is great about this book, especially the characters. So the book follows these two twin siblings, Karis and Andreas, who are the prince and princess of the Kingdom of Eden. And unfortunately, one day on their way back from the front lines, their older brother and father are murdered. And since the king and his firstborn son are dead, the throne is supposed to go to the queen, his wife. But because of certain circumstances, the mom ends up going crazy and denounces her right to the throne, which leaves it to Karis and Andreas. But unfortunately, because they're twins, both have equal right and neither one has more claim than the other for the throne, so they technically can't seat either one of them on the throne. Which is not good, because if nobody in this family is seated on the throne, means somebody else from a different family is going to be seated on the throne. So what happens to the family that used to be? Luckily, they are saved by the Seer of Eden, who gives them an alternative. So the council now has to test Karis and Andreas through these trials that will test their 7 virtues. No, I do not remember the 7 virtues off the top of my head, but that is what the whole story is about. So not only do they have to get through these trials, but they also have to figure out who killed their brother and their father and what actually happened to their mother. This book is definite 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. It was a page turner. I finished this whole book in a day. I cannot wait for the second one to come out. Joelle, I am waiting. I am anticipating. Give it to me. I want it. I'm not going to give you too much on the book because I am going to be doing a book review on it, so be on the lookout for that. But what I can say is Karis made this book. Like, oh my god. I feel like had Karis not been written the way she was, I would not have liked this book as much as I do. But she was. So this book is bomb because Karis is bomb. Karis is probably one of the most badass females I have read in a book for quite a while now. She goes through some hardships, she endures some crap, and she is just like on her A game. Like, just because she's in a dress, don't underestimate her. But like I said, I don't want to give you guys too much about the book because I am going to be doing a book review on it, but OMG, I definitely recommend it. If any of these books you had to buy on this list, you have to buy Dividing Eden because it is so, so good. So the next book on my wrap up is Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan. I had always heard great things about David Levithan and all of his LGBT plus books. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I gotta get it. But just as a side note, I am like a sucker for boys' love stories. I really am. Like, that is like my heart. I love boys' love stories. They're wonderful. So this book follows the story of Paul and his budding love with the new guy in town, Noah. But I will tell you this, that Paul and Noah's relationship is the main story, but it is not the only story. I will tell you this, that this book is a compilation of all of Paul's relationships with all of his different friends. Tony, Joni, Infinite Darlene, Ted, Kyle, and a few more that I cannot remember off the top of my head right now. I'm not gonna lie, I cried while reading this book, not because it's like a soppy romance, but because of Paul's situation with Joni. I have been through the experience where you've had a friend that started dating somebody and you didn't necessarily get along with the person they were dating and you felt like they were pulling them away from you, and your guys' friendship kind of just went through a rough point. When I was reading that and Paul started going through that, I felt for him, and before I even knew it, like, there were just tears coming down my eyes. I was like, oh my god. I had to put the book down for a little bit and kind of like take a step back because I was getting like way too emotional. But I definitely recommend Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan for you guys to read. It's really short. It's I think it's a little less than 200 pages, so it's a really quick read. And the storyline is so good. There's a story of a kid coming out in a home where the parents are accepting. There's another one where the parents are not accepting. There's also representation of POC LGBTQ people in this book. Bisexual characters. There's a drag queen. I don't know if they're trans or a drag queen. I'm gonna say that they're a drag queen. And I love, one of my favorite characters in this book is Infinite Darlene, just because of the fact that she can march out with the football team in her like prom queen dress and still tackle the mess out of somebody because she's the quarterback of the football team. I was like, you go girl, you go girl, rock them hills on the football field if you need to, like get you, do you, I got you boo boo. I was like, she was rocking it. So yeah, I definitely recommend Boy Meets Boy. It was a really fun read. It was a little emotional for me because of my personal experience, but definitely read it. It was really good. And last but definitely not least is One Man Guy by David Badakiva. I'm going to keep messing up his name. I should probably just look it up. There's somebody out there who knows how to pronounce his name. So this is another boys love story that follows Alec Kadarian, who is Armenian, which is different for me because usually you have like the typical boys love story where like they're either white or they're Asian. So it's a little different because you're adding in the aspect of culture into this book. So this book follows Alec and his relationship with one of the school dropouts or DOs, Ethan. Alec is a very, if your parents tell you one thing, you gotta follow the rules, you must abide by your culture, and you must know where your place is in society and always be like super conscious about things, and he's basically almost like a goody two-shoes. Ethan is the exact opposite. He is outwardly gay, his friends accept him, which is awesome. He loves listening to rock music, he skips school, he likes traveling to New York on the train. He's the complete opposite of Alec in every way, in the fact that he is a free, fun-loving spirit. Like, he's like, I don't abide by the rules, I live in the here and now. I really like this story because you got to see Alec go from like the goody two-shoes phase, I say goody two-shoes lightly, but the goody two-shoes phase into a more like teenager. Like, he's like him actually being a teenager. So the plot of the book is, starts out with Alec at this restaurant with his family and his older brother Nick, and his mom is telling him that, hey, you can't come on the family trip because your grades weren't high enough to get you into the honors program, but if you take summer classes you'll be able to get into it. So he has to stay home for a week by himself while his family is off on vacation and continue to go to school. But before that and during this week, he starts hanging out with Ethan more, he starts skipping school, and he basically changes his whole demeanor. And I don't want to encourage young people to like disobey your parents and start like sneaking out of class or anything like that, because education is important, but I totally encourage just being young and just having fun, because you're only young once. There was a point in time where I was considered a goody two-shoes, and so I was just like, you know what, let me just like go out and do something just for the heck of it for once. And I don't regret it. I'm 20 years old now and I have no regrets whatsoever. I mean, I'm still standing here, so this is really a story about a young man just learning to be a young man and not being so worried about, oh, I have to be smart in order to get into a good school, in order to get into a good college, which is all great and like excellent, but you gotta learn to like have fun and let loose every once in a while, because all work and no play is never a good thing. So I definitely recommend this book for you guys to read. It was really good. I enjoyed it, so I think that you guys will too. So that is it for my July wrap up. What did you guys think? Because this is my first time doing a July wrap up. Did I do a good job? Do I suck at this? Like, what do I need to improve on? Give me the criticism, because I will find it constructive, whether it's negative or positive, because I need to get better at these. So anyways, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content from me, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.